This league on F1 2023. I am Greg, otherwise known as the Wufafa in the Discord. I'm your host for this evening, and we've got 26 lovely flying laps of Azerbaijan to wander around. The walls are close, the straights are fast, the corners are slow. It's a test of attrition to get all the way around this track in one piece. We've got 17 drivers that are going to attempt to do the impossible and come out on top in the city of Baku. So I do apologise, first of all, that I did miss last week. I was pretty ill with the flu, as was my wife, so I unfortunately didn't think you'd want to hear me suffering over the airwaves. But we're back for this week, and we've got plenty of action to catch you up on. From the results that I've seen, I see that Persegili did not keep up his hat-trick of wins. He finished just the bottom step of the podium last week in third, with Moxie taking a long-awaited win. And then Creamer also jumping up the championship with a second place, gaining 3 positions last week. Moxie gaining 2 to draw himself up close to Persegili. But now we have loaded into the lobby. Let's get some little telemetry up. Obviously, they're all going to be on softs. An update and a track map to see where everybody is. My rule is, first one out gets the first bit of coverage. Whoever crosses the line first, we're going to follow them for a full lap of this wonderful circuit. 20 turns. However, some of them are taken at pretty much full throttle, so you can almost discount about 4 or 5 of them. But we're going to reach absolutely astonishing speeds. The estimated top speed for the approach heading down to the first corner is 211 miles an hour. Otherwise, 340 kilometers an hour, as we do see an Alfa Romeo. Super Jesse, yes, Super Jesse, first one out of the pits. As they're all starting to pour out, it's a very, very, very long lap this at slow pace. You really want to get the hammer down if you want to get multiple laps in this session. There's so many of these corners here, just need to be swooped round. They're not tight hairpins. You can carry a fair bit of speed, but it needs to be judged to absolute perfection to keep it out of the walls. High curbs as well, especially this one here. Really jump the car if you're not careful. As you can see, the flowing back straight just on the other side of those barriers coming into the castle section. Now, the castle section has broken many hearts over the years. None to one that's had a drastically bad luck in that section of Charles Leclerc with his infamous I am stupid, I am stupid. Hopefully nobody will be having to say that in their monologue this evening. And then this hill as well, just coming downhill into turn 16, where not only does it fall away from you on the right, it then there's a crest downwards as well, and you're also expected to come back onto yourself to get the power down. Now, this is ultimately where the lap starts. May not be employing ERS just yet, but his foot needs to be flat to the floor because he wants to come across the start-finish line at absolute top speed. Choose the wide line. DRS opens now. And he's just got to attack into the first corner. No marbles for him to have to navigate just yet, so we can go all the way out to the far right. Slightly kiss the curb. Turn in nice and hard. Quite conservative early on, sticking to the white lines, not the wall. Braking heavily into turn 2. Key exit coming out of here. There's a little bit rear happy, but nothing he can't control, Super Jesse. Up towards turn 3 now. Looks relatively pedestrian, but I assure you, if you're standing by the sidelines, your hair would be swept. He powers out through turn 4. No real reference just yet. Avoids the last bit of coming inside there. Kinks left, then right. Now turning through turn 7 into the castle section. You want to flick it over to the left, get as fast to the right as possible. You want to straighten this line up through this uphill kink here. Fantastic car control going there from Super Jesse. So yeah, through here, there's about 3 corners through here, 13, 14 and 15, but they are all pretty much flat out. Braking heavily into turn 16. And turns back on himself and powers out Now, only later on the race is this really going to be a challenge, but with low fuel, fresh tyres, this is no trouble for the cars at all. He might even get a little bit of a distant slipstream further up the road there. No, maybe not. And sets the initial pace at a 1:42.5, quickly followed by Wilmarv at 41 flat. Who else we got coming across the line? We've got the Aston Martins. There's the other one of Creamer, second place man, last time out. What can he do? Can he dislodge the two that have currently put times in? He goes P2, followed by his teammate who then displaces him off the front row. And we've got the McLaren of Tezik. We've got AVT Pasty, a man who's very, very fast, but has been blighted by incidents the last few races. So we'll see what he can do. How good a first step can he put down? Off he goes, absolutely tops the board, beats the previous pole time by 7/10. A fantastic showing. And then we've got Max Duca coming to finish his lap as well. And goes P3. Max Duca always poking around that top 3 position. And then Moxie, winner last time out, goes pole. And Persegili, championship leader, beats him by less than a tenth of a second, goes P1. And we've got Mulshen coming down the pit straight under the lights, goes P10. And we have too many drivers pushing at the moment. Not sure if anybody's going to particularly go for a double push lap. Let's see, what does Creamer choose to do? We've already seen Super Jesse into the pits. He has fallen a lot since he set that first lap. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of drivers just peeling into the pits here. Looks like Tezik chooses to... No. Ooh. I want to watch himself. In the race, he might find himself getting a penalty there if he does that again. Got Phoenix comes across the line. Not a competitive lap, so maybe just a charge lap. We've got Armand Teleki. I don't believe is pushing. A bit of confusion going on here on the back. I don't think either of these drivers are pushing a great deal. They just got to avoid each other on the way back to the pits. Super Jesse coming back out. We do have Pedro. Did just see a Ferrari. Looking like he's having a bit of trouble. No. So we'll go back to Pedro. There's that Red Bull. Gets a little bit of wings and bounces and flies over that curbing of turn 15. Now the most important corner on the track. He likes to ride the curb and will have invalidated his lap before it's even started. Not promising at all. Drifting wide of that curbing will invalidate the lap before it's even started, as it is deemed to give advantage in terms of speed down towards the first corner. So I do fully suspect as he crosses the line here, it's going to... Oh no, the game has seemingly let him have it. Oh, but then, very unfortunately, takes his wing off into the wall, carried a bit too much speed. Maybe that was the F1 karmic gods coming after him. But who do we have? We've got Phoenix round in the first corner. Oh, as we've got Bachelor Lightyear. Unsure what's happened there, but he has absolutely dismantled the front of his car. Mike Crack will not like the look of that. We've got a few drivers pulling over. It doesn't look like Phoenix is carrying on. We'll see what his split is as he crosses the line. Oh, as Phoenix goes deep to avoid, maybe. Most drivers just warming up for the time being. I wonder who we can go to. Super Jesse's definitely pushing down towards turn 3. Trail braking into the corner. Oh, he goes very deep, kicks the rear out, but does seem to hold it. Doesn't get too much sideways action. Now that is a purple first sector, however, within the game it means purple for outside the top 10. So maybe not get too excited just yet. So we'll hopefully move him up though. It's all still promising stuff for Super Jesse. If I'm not mistaken, that is Wilmarv who is following him round. We'll go back on board with Super Jesse and go back to Wilmarv as he starts his lap. Yeah, very, very controlled over turn 14. Purple middle sector 2, but then it gets really, really bad snap coming out of turn 16. That will really affect his traction, really affect his top speed as he comes towards the line, but he's sticking with it. DRS opens, pulls what he can, 208, 209, 210 miles an hour across the line, and does improve to P11. Goimov looks like he is on an in-lap now. What about Moxie? Moxie's on the push. Nice four-wheel slide. Gets on the traction nicely. Oh, really rode that gearbox there. And this is purple first sector. He's taking the charge to Persegili. He doesn't have much of a gap to find, but you better believe Persegili will come back or whatever he lays down. Super, super controlled driving from Moxie. It's something I've been very, very impressed with so far, as he has maximum commitment up the castle section. Now he's going to have a bit of traffic coming through the fast lefts. Hopefully they've seen him. Oh, does that... Not quite the line he maybe wanted, but he seems to be carrying on just fine. He's still purple. He's still looking to take this pole position. We've got Persegili, I've just seen, tackling traffic in the first sector. We'll go to him very shortly. The DRS over now. All the hard work is done. Just got to plant your foot to the floor. Goes towards the lights and does. Absolutely smashes the initial time, but takes off another 6/10. We go back to Persegili, who, as expected, does respond with a purple first sector. He just got some very unfortunate traffic coming through the middle section, though. Now, hopefully these have seen him. Nice and early. I believe that is the Alpine of Phoenix. Oh, as Persegili gets a real tank stabber and puts his right rear into the wall, but he seems to be sticking with it. He's found the time so far, but has he gained any damage from that? Will this have cost him and potentially have to send him out for another run? Will he abandon this at the line? But even if he has been distracted by Phoenix, he might just say, well, if you're going to distract me like that, give me some slipstream. He does stay committed. He does follow that slipstream, but it is not enough. Gets into 39s as well, but I think that big mistake is costing the chance at an initial pole position. We go back to AVT Pasti, who's also finding time in the middle sector. Bit more conservative than the two guys on the front row. Coming through turn 15. Maybe looks to take a few more risks out here. He does. He goes right over the curbing. That is a purple middle sector. So we're going to see, can he take the fight? Can he pit Persegili thanks to that mistake? Yeah, round he goes. DRS opens. You might as well use the last of that ERS. Towards the line he goes and goes. Does improve, but doesn't quite get into the 39s club. Got Mulshane in a lot of clean air. Really, really controlled driving. Yeah, him and Moxie, I've just been so impressed. So other seasons with just the general smoothness of their driving. Breaks down to turn 15. Elects to not even attempt to kiss the hump curbing there. Rides the throttle very, very nicely. Doesn't go quite as extreme as AVT Pasty. Maybe that's wise. Still got a lot of ERS left to use here. Doesn't even look like he's straining the car. I'll be so impressed if this is an improvement, because it really doesn't look like he's ragging much out of it. But no, thinks, or maybe not the lap that. Maybe he just wants one more run. Who else we still have out on track? Do have Creamer and Super Jesse just on an outlap. Super Jesse now on that flying lap. He's managed to time a lot of his runs here to get a lot of airtime. Might start calling him Mr. Showbiz. So the drivers here with so many DRS zones, it's really, really helpful in qualifying. You won't find times like this during the race. The open availability to use the 3 DRS zones that are placed on the track. Super Jesse really, really wanting to escape the bottom 7, push himself inside the top 10. But then again, it is quite a hairy turn 1 on this track. You maybe don't want to be right in the mix. But these guys are super competitive. They will definitely want to show what they're worth. As we've just seen Persegili choosing to retire from the session and accept this second place if that's what he can keep. He's still got Gulmarv who can potentially displace him. Oh, yeah, as Super Jesse does take a lot of curbing there. As he does get a purple middle sector, which might put him inside the top 10, especially from those that have retired from the session already. Like I did say at this very beginning, it is a very long lap just to trudge around, especially if you're giving up space on track. So now he's done all the hard work, just has to put his foot down, use the last of the ERS, energy recovery system, and power to the line. What can he do? Doesn't quite make it to the top 10, goes P11. So let's go to Gulmarv. Oh, that's committed. Down he goes. He's a lot of ERS early up in the lap. Maybe he figures he can only do so much down the straight. He's still reaching top speeds. Doesn't quite get it done. What about Tezik? He's going to push lap now. Oh, Tezik not quite getting the turn in that he wanted. Still got too many of the competitive laps going round. Got Max Duca coming through the first sector, but we'll go back to him. Oh, you have Tezik going straight on at what appears to be turn 5. Oh, please be careful. I think he's seen the track map. He knows he can do that. So we go on board with Max Duca. He'll be very glad that he was a few more seconds down the road with how Tezik responded to coming back on track. Max Duca not looking like he's taking too many risks just yet. Maybe there's risks he can take further around the lap. Maybe he knows he's maxed out in other places. Oh, that looks super smooth. A bit hairy on the nose. Didn't look the nose quite wanted to stick in there. But looks super good now. Breaking downhill at 15. One of the better lines I've seen. Fantastic. And Super Jesse retires. And he gets purple in the middle sector, does Max Duca. Now is that down to slightly better aero on his car? He may begin to suffer down here. Now most drivers so far have been topping out about 210 by the end of the straight. What can Max Duca do? He pushes for P6. But Mulshane, who's also coming down the pit straight now. I don't think this is quite going to do it. We don't get to see it. Goes 5th. Just ahead of Max Duca, who was finishing his lap there with him. So there we have it, guys. So Moxie does pit Persegili. Moxie's championship charge against Persegili starts now. Persegili having to, after that incident, to settle for P2. Followed by AVT Pasti, who's once again putting a fantastic qualifying stint. Followed by Gulmarv, Mulshane, and Simu Rally Monster. Followed by Max Duca, who was pit by him by the end. Creamer, who did so well last time out. Maybe qualifying's not quite his forte, goes P8. Followed by Solid Ninja Snake. And then Tezik, who didn't quite get to put his full effort in the last lap as he went deep into turn 5. We have Phoenix, Special Lightyear, Super Jesse, Armand Teleki, Tash 22, Richard Jaramovic, and Pedro, who those three did not have the opportunity to set a lap. So here we are, guys, while the drivers are sat in their pits, trying to settle on strategy, starting tyres, fuel loads. We're going to wait and see what the wide and narrowing turn 1 of Baku brings us. Thank you for those that have joined so far. Let me know what you think. If I could be doing better, if any of the drivers could be doing better, if you've got any predictions, or if you've got anybody that you are particularly supporting, we'd love to hear it. I'll try and read out or respond to as many of the messages that come up as possible. So we have 26 laps now. With how difficult it is to overtake around here, I fully suspect this will come into a one stop. However, previous conversation before starting is that we're hoping to reduce the amount of safety cars, but Baku has a tendency to create them. So I think pit strategy very much will be determined by incidents and how long we run around in there. Now we are hoping to finish the race with as many drivers as possible. Often can be difficult on tracks like this, where even if you're running around by yourself, the walls are so close, turns are so fast, you very much can clip a wing, and before you know it, on your way back to the pits, bin the entire thing. But we have skilled drivers in here, some of the best, and I'm sure they can navigate the challenges. So I do apologise for the wait. We'll be getting going as soon as possible. And one thing to note here, as you look down the pit lane, you can see there's a bit of a kink on the way in. Hope that doesn't catch too many drivers out. It is an instant time penalty for speeding in the pits. But here we go. We have one light and...
Right then, the formation lap gets underway here on the streets of Baku. I suspect the drivers today will be very mindful of that narrow uphill section at the Old Town Wall. It requires pinpoint accuracy and perhaps more crucially, courage.
I thought I'd let Crofty do that bit of an introduction. I wasn't expecting to pop up there. But yeah, the Old Town section, which comprises of turn 17 to 19, is very, very tricky.
Hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
And there you are, you saw it. There's either a 1 or 2 stop strategy. As the drivers now form up, looks like the two I can see at least, have set out on the hard tyres. We'll get that data for you as soon as we get going. We've got this rear view of the lights. But now we go front and centre. We've got Moxie on the left, Persegili on the right. We have 5 lights and away we go. Persegili also gets a fantastic start, just like Hamilton. He looks to the inside. Can he make a dive? No, he can't. AVT past him, is an absolute square. He pushes Persegili wide. Moxie gets an absolute fantastic lead. Persegili manages to make it through. Guimov has taken an absolute opportunity off from AVT Pasti. AVT Pasti does fight back though. Wait to catch up with the action. AVT Pasti having to fight off Rally Monster. Down towards turn 4. Side by side they go. Rally Monster gets it on track. William has to make it through. No, he doesn't. AVT Pasti looks to come back. As we have moves down the back as well. We've got Armand and Super Jesse having a bit of a dice for positions. We have Pedro, who's just had a tag with the wall there. Don't see any damage just yet. But we do see Pedro letting Phoenix through. And Moxie has carved out already almost a second's lead. He needs that second. He does not want Persegili chasing him down on the pit straight with DRS once the initial laps have ended. Crucially, they have dropped Guimard, making it a simple shootout between the two of them. Persegili, after avoiding an incident early on with AVT Pasti, who's still in the hunt. He's still up to 5th. So at the back we have Tezic looking at Creamer, who's in a cognizant sandwich. I did think I just saw Ferrari losing a lot of ground there. And he's got Musa all over him. And we have Tezic up the inside of Creamer. He wants to dispatch the mean green machines. Breaks down the inside and gets a turn in. So there we are, guys. There is the tyre information. The hard tyre runners at the start acting like their unprotected bubble, keeping the medium attackers away. The Aston Martin of Bachelet looking at Cream, looking at his teammate. Wants to take that position. Probably better for the strategy there, that way around. We did just see AVT Pasti. Just look a little bit disconnected there for a moment, but all seems to be fine for now. He is the last of the hard runners. He really wants to catch up with Rally Monster. Oh no, and there goes Solid Ninja Snake. All too easy, like taking candy from a baby. AVT Pasti on the hard tyre, with no one to drag him along, is going to be a sitting duck for these medium runners. As now we go to Max Duca, who's the next one to attempt an attack. Rounding around the back of the old town. And then down the hill. Love watching these cars. Just let the rear slip just slightly to get the turn in. As he goes, Max Duca takes turn 16 absolutely perfectly. Can he get the drive to cover off? And now AVT Pasti has been compromised on that line. It is an absolute sitting duck down this straight. He doesn't have the traction. He doesn't have the drive. And through goes Tezic. Will this be an absolute bloodbath? Here come the Aston Martins as well. Yeah, AVT Pasti can absolutely punish off the hard tyres he wants to be. And just about gets it stopped. But we go back to the front. We can see that Persegili really hasn't let Moxie get away. Now, how much do these two drivers really want to be fighting each other in the early stages of the race? They're on the hard tyre. They want to go long. Any life taken away from these tyres is not positive for either of them. However, if Persegili can make Moxie push a bit too hard, that's definitely in his interest. Now, as we go back, we've got Creamer making a mistake, letting Bachelet back through. Bachelet is now lost out to Max Duca. Bachelet back past though. As they do just form up again. So it looks like Bachelet had an error and let Creamer back through. But they're probably going to want to reorder this as soon as possible. It's a great battle through the old town. But I can't help but notice that Rally Monster is also closing up on Gurmov, which didn't originally look possible. Looked like the front three had bolted. Yeah, as we do, there's the choreographed Aston Martin switch, but has he let Max Duca through as well? No! Great choreographed move there by the Aston Martins, but regardless, it looks like Max Duca has found an awful lot of grip coming out to turn 16, as is Michelin behind. That smooth driving style of the pair of them really sending the attack signals to the Aston Martins, as it looks like we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Who's going to win out on this one? Bachelor Lightyear definitely loses out there. Does get a reasonable drive. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. He does have the inside line. Can both drivers squeeze through here? Just about. The Bachelor Lightyear does get a position back from from Max Duca. Max Duca looks to have the inside, doesn't think about it, but further back we have got Armand taking a dive at Super Jesse, not quite making it stick, but he has now. Michelin's looking to push Creamer along. Creamer on the hard tyres, maybe just starting to find a bit of heat, a bit of temperature to make these work. The medium's still got plenty of life to go into this Grand Prix. Now what Creamer will be very happy to hear, he's still got his teammate only a couple of positions behind who can attack Michelin through this section. But Michelin definitely on traction at least, does seem to be getting away. Super smooth. Now this will be the test. Up until now, Creamer's has nothing but his teammates attacking him down this straight. This might be a different story with an opposition car trying to take the position from him. What a great camera angle. Down the inside chooses Michelin. And quite simple there, just simply out-dragged him with DRS. Now, will Creamer get out-dragged by his teammate with DRS? No, he does not. Aston Martin resume position once again. But now, Bachelor Lightyear jumps ahead again. This Aston Martin team play really confusing the drivers around. Invites Max Duca for a move to the inside. I don't think that was wise there. Max Duca's going to have the inside. Will he make the dive? Will he make it stick? Yes, gets ahead, gets nose ahead, and turns the inside on the line. Further up the road, Rally Monster does seem really closed up on Gulmov. He sniffs the podium and his teammate is not too far behind. Looks like Moxie and Percy are just respecting that gap for the moment. We've just seen Pedro go into the pits. So we'll see now. Gurmov hasn't had a driver this close to him thus far. As we're just seeing small lockups on the outside of 15. So DRS is going to open now. Who has set up their car in such a way that they might just have eked a little bit of advantage down this straight. He has a little look, gets out of the dirty air, but it's too far back for now. For the back, Super Jesse taking the position back from Armand. It's much more simple than Armand took it off him with DRS. As we have Tash now pitting off the hard tyres. Oh, is that must be damage or a penalty. As we look to the leaders, Persegili keeping it nice and tight to him, but doesn't seem to really be throwing any sort of attack at him at the moment. I think Moxie in previous rounds has got relatively used to this tactic of Perseguili's. It's very, very Hamilton-like. Hamilton's very famous for literally just sitting as close and as uncomfortable to those he's trying to race against, and then overtaking the earliest possibility with a mistake. But it does just look like Perseguili down the fast sections does just have a little bit more than Perseguili. So we'll see now. So we're going into or out of the Old Town section, flat out from here, with nearly a second the gap between Moxie and Perseguili. How much does it come down with DRS and Slipstream? As we have Max Duca out of the session. No, it doesn't seem to be stopped on track, so I do wonder what's going on there. It does seem to already have left. So we have the leaders, Moxie and Perseguili, into the pits. Will there be any pit jumping here? Oh no, Moxie and the AlphaTauri team do just get out ahead. Solid Ninja Snake electing to stay out. Potentially predicting another safety car. It's a common phrase in F1. Safety cars cause safety cars. So there we have it. 7 laps in, we have our first safety car. Hopefully the last. Let's go over the winners and losers so far. So Solid Ninja Snake, unsurprisingly, without the pit, has gained 8 positions. Moxie and Perseguili staying exactly where they started. Gulmarv would have gained 1 position, was obviously taken away from by Solid Ninja Snake. Running Monster heading up 1. Mujlan mainly retaining his position. Plezik, Super Jesse and Armand Teki. We'll check on those in a moment to see if in fact they haven't pitted, but that's great gains so far. AVT Pasti, they did have an incident earlier on, or I think, oh actually no, I think he might have pitted early, but then has obviously missed out, come out behind the safety car. So now we go to the stops. So yeah, oh no, AVT Pasti with 2 stops, so yeah, one of those must have been damage. The only person not to have stopped so far is Solid Ninja Snake. And all the madness, we have missed Rijad also falling out of this race. So Solid Ninja Snake definitely trying an alternate strategy here. Not quite sure how this is going to play out for him. He's got 2 lead drivers of the championship behind him on fresh rubber. Not sure how many positions he's going to be willing to give up initially, but I suspect it will be a few. So pretty hard to keep temperature in your tyres around here. By seeing drivers go quite heavy into the braking zones to try and warm up the fronts. We've been assured that Bert Mailander, obviously whilst he is trying to be safe with the safety car, is pushing very, very hard to try and not have the drivers behind him complaining about their tyres going cold. So we get some aerial shots here of the Old Town. Up through the castle walls. So let me know, what do you think about this track? Those in the comments. Were you happy to see it added to the calendar in 2016? Or has it very much been an eyesore and one that's maybe not generated too much racing? I think a lot of the racing has been quite exciting, but only because we've had the subsequent safety cars which have caused drama. I personally am more in favour of more traditional circuits, and quite frankly I think we should be pushing for ultra modern circuits, ones that are terraformed to have banking and actually really push the limits of these 2x5 metre based cars. I'm going to say they want to keep building in America and building in Saudi Arabia. There's plenty of space out there. Let's dig some dirt up and let's put some proper tracks down. So I believe now this should be the final lap under the safety car, and then we'll be back to racing conditions, and we'll get to see how well Solid Ninja Snake, I'm sure I've said that right because he's corrected me in the past. Yep, Solid Ninja Snake will go about defending all of the absolutely raging drivers behind him. So around about now you're going to want your tyres pretty hot. The last thing you need is coming out of turn 16 with your tyres flat cold. There's also a very big strategic call that needs to be made about the restart here. You also don't want to be creating an additional safety car by leaving your restarts about halfway down the pit straight. As drivers come through turn 16, they want to know they're either stepping on the gas or they're following a train. So we should hear if we're getting racing this lap around about now. And there we go, there we have the message of safety car in this lap. Solid Ninja Snake will have his engine stalled ever so slightly to push him back into the pack. Letting for an initially quite fast pace. Now he has to wait until the safety car is all the way back into the pits to make sure he doesn't overtake it. Making sure we've got nobody joining the back too fast. No, all seems to have been done well. Safety car is now in. He can pull the trigger anytime he wants to now. Still not electing to go. Quite delayed start. And away he goes. Quite a well chosen start there. Our eyes go to Moxie and Persegidi behind. Persegidi looks to charge. He's got Gulmov on his outside. Doesn't make any inroads just yet. The AlphaTauri team back on Persegidi's tail. Further back we've got Armand overtaking his engine manufacturer teammate. Gets that move done, pushes Creamer out. The Solid Ninja Snake has already lost out to Moxie. Now quickly we lose out to Persegidi. Does seem to fight Persegidi. Persegidi really not liking the look of this. He's watching Moxie just get away here. Always optimistic to try and make a move into the castle. But no, look how much he's getting slowed here. I'm not sure if Solid Ninja Snake is an old teammate of Moxie's, but he's doing an absolute solid. The gap is almost up to 3 seconds and Persegili is still behind. Persegili looks like he's got a magnet attached to the back of Solid Ninja Snake. Now Solid Ninja Snake is going to want the biggest drive of his life, but it doesn't look it's going to be enough. Looks like Persegili is going to get this now. There's only so much you can do to defend from this point. Persegili is already ahead and off he goes. But that has allowed Gulmov through as well. He's in the slipstream. He's right on the gearbox. Will there be a move thrown here? Moxie, that time is already coming back down thanks to the slipstream that Persegili got off Solid Ninja Snake. But Gulmov is right there. He needs to be a huge distraction as Persegili taps the wall. The second time this evening that Persegili has been slightly thwarted by the barriers. Will this invite Gulmov in? As well, the Haas drivers in the background swapping places. Gulmov not quite making the impression he wanted. He really needs to push faster here. He's only going to get so many opportunities to stay latched onto the back of Persegili. As we have a great battle forming behind these mid-pack positions. Now surely Creamer, surely not through here. Oh, as he gets the position anyway. The dummy out meant that Michelin couldn't pick his turn in. And Michelin goes on and down the slip road. Disaster for Michelin. And Rallymosa once again showing what sort of boots he's got on. Fast ones. As he's now closing Gulmov as he drops off the back of Persegili. And Creamer, the latest to try and pick off Solid Ninja Snake. All too easy now. I think that was the best call by Solid Ninja Snake. As Persegili, yeah, very fast at working that time down to Moxie. But what can Moxie do? He has the gap now. Can he maintain it? Or at least something greater than DRS, so he can try and iron out this win. Could really do with this in the championship. It wouldn't let him overtake the championship lead, but it sure goes a long way to bring him back into competition. Oh, as Persegili once again happy on the rear, showing just how hard he's having to work to keep up with Moxie. Medium tyres just are not quite working for Persegili. What was down to 2 seconds, now 2.4. As of the Haas driver of Sim Rally Monster, as earlier mentioned, looking like he's going to be the most likely one to take over this podium, the last of the podium spaces. Nothing doing quite yet, so we'll go down to Armand, who's been making a lot of moves so far tonight, but potentially because he's been using a lot of his ERS. We were blinking there. Thank you, James, for commenting, and thank you for informing me. Sounds like a man in the know. Say that Persegili looks like he's on lower downforce than Moxie. As we do see Persegili through the last sector, the long straight, has lost time, which should add feathers to that theory. As we have a lot of Ferrari powered cars fighting over positions down the pit straight, and winning out of them is Armand, who goes a little deep but holds it true. Super Jesse gets a better drive though. Armand making a few extra corrections, but I think that was just about legal. But Super Jesse coming back again. He looks to the outside. Is that where Armand wanted him? Or can he get slightly ahead? Oh, tyres into lock. Super respectful so far. Into turn 4. How do they tackle this one? Oh, touching of tyres again. But all cars pointing the right way. Yeah, Persegili out to 3 seconds. Has he potentially accrued some damage? We're going to try and get a look of his car. just doesn't quite look that comfortable. It all seems intact. But if he is running higher downforce, it's not really showing in the sections that you thought it would do. Now, DRS this lap. Rally Monster, this will be his first real attack at Gulimov. And don't worry, mid-pack, I have seen you like a little rainbow on the map further back there. I will come into you at any moment. Here goes Rally Monster. Down comes the time. Nothing doing quite just yet. As we have a helicopter shot down towards turn 1. We've got Armand heading down the inside of Super Jesse. Super Jesse taking the wider, faster outside line. Oh, as they go across each other, and we have a huge accident. Super Jesse just looking like he couldn't quite hold the rear, as we have the night's second safety car. Which would be great relief for AVT Pasti. You see Max Duca leave the session but not leave his car. So we'll wait to see what the leaders are going to do. An alternate tyre would make it all the way to the end, whereas the performance of the medium tyre might be questionable. Only the drivers will know. They'll be the ones seeing their data. As I highly suspect Tezik will pit off the soft tyres, which I don't know, it's amazing he's made it that far, to be honest. Now Moxie, who's clearly been idling, has allowed Persegili to catch up, potentially to try and dummy him into the pit. So we have Almanteki, who's lost it through the fast section. They're dropping like flies. As we've just seen, there was a penalty there. Moxie has got himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pits. The man who looked like he had it oh so comfortable is now going to have to perform the impossible and try and find 5 seconds after his safety car to Persegili. Solid Ninja Snake, choosing to stay out even longer, puts himself in between the two championship contenders once again. As we have Pedro on the Inters. Not sure if that's allowed in this league. However, if I'm looking at that right, it did look like a spot of rain. There is! It's raining! So Pedro, potentially with a master stroke, is elected to put on Inters. Now is the rest of the grid going to have to come in? Now, wow, this has really spiced it up. Everybody trudging around under safety car speeds. Pedro's not far off the back of this. Now he's got to make sure he doesn't cook these tyres. So whilst he wants to close up on the cars ahead, that maybe, James, maybe. I mean, it was. I never considered it a possibility for it to rain. But if he had a suspicion, potentially trying to play with the safety cars. But now, Solid Interstate, he is still going to lose out to Pedro. But I don't know how much he's really gained. He's still only really put himself on the same strategy as everybody else. But, I mean, it is raining, but how heavy? Is the restart really going to justify Inters? There's Moxie pits, and Moxie's going to lose loads of positions because now, under the safety car, he's going to have to serve that penalty. So we're going to stay on board with Moxie because he's going to be the most heavily affected driver by this. Persigili looks to stay out. And I would not be surprised if Moxie finds himself at the very, very back of the grid here. But no, with other drivers pitting, it's not going to be that bad. Now Pedro, who if the conditions favour him, is in the net lead of this race. Now for those who have stayed out, Persigili, Batch Lightyear, Phoenix, Creamer, Tezik and Mouchelin, surely it's too big a risk to stay out on these slicks at this point. And the rain is getting heavier, it seems. Now I had down a few safety cars in this race. However, I did not have down that we were going to have rain intervene the strategy here. I don't believe we've ever had a wet Baku race in real life. Apart from, you know, when the Ferraris were leaking oil all over the track. But that's a little bit different. So we go to Persigili. Now what is going through Persigili's mind around about now? His main rival lingering down in P8. He has cleared his penalty. He's in a net P2 in terms of tyres. But Persigili has track position. And some of the cars who are also looking to have to do the same strategy as him if the rain does intensify. Do we have any of these leading cars look for a last minute dive into the pits? Looks like one towards the back. And no, everybody is choosing to elect to race as it stands. Now for those on the hard tyres that were picked up on lap 7 in the first safety car, I don't envy them. They're going to be cold, they're going to be worn. I couldn't think of a worse tyre to be on in the current conditions. Well, AVT Pasty pitting. Is he had damage? You know, we've found that a little bit too late to find out. However, he could be doing his teammate an absolute solid, because by going to the pits again and slowing down the grid and his recovery back to it, he is elongating the safety car, making it wetter and wetter and wetter. So for those drivers that want to get a little bit of dry running, build a gap and then pit, this absolutely scuppered them. As we're already starting to see some drivers at the front try and warm their tyres up. Whereas these Inters are going to be absolutely cooking because we're going from dry to wet. Pedro especially, he was out in almost dry conditions on the Inters. The question is, are we going to get going this lap? Safety car will tell us as we cross this line. We've had plenty of laps on the safety car. As we do, we get it in this lap. And AVT Pasty is going to come at this pack like a scolded rat. Now, these leaders, what sort of drive can they even look to get? Oh, I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous for this restart because these slick tyre runners are going to be super, super tentative on the brakes. And also the Inters are having to be braking into this turn for the first time at speed. AVT Pasty has caught up before the pack has bolted. As Persegili straightens up. And rev goes his engine. Off Persegili goes. Looks like the track is just dry enough to give him an advantage for now. Further back. Lots and lots of driver moves. We have Creamer look to the inside of Phoenix. Gets that move done on the old hard tyres. As we've got Moxie making moves. He is right in the middle of the pack though, so he's going to have to keep his nose clean. Oh, did we have a driver going in the wall there? A bit further forward, we've got the Alpines trying to negotiate who's going to lead there. Rasmussen on the fresher, softer tyres. He's going to go for it. It does not quite look like his Inters quite yet. The slick tyre runners do seem to have the advantage for now. Persegili has found a bit of a gap. Is that Creamer? Yeah, once again, Creamer. The guys on the fresher slicks are really progressing. Phoenix has really, really suffered on this restart. And Pedro, the man who made the initial call onto the Inters, has made some progress, but he really, really needs this to rain a bit harder than this if these plans are going to play out. He's going offline to try and find some water. Here comes Moxie. The question is, how much will Pedro fight this? Not too hard, it seems. The sister cars. Now Moxie puts himself in a net P1. It really is quite a crossover point. Slick and wet tyres seem to be performing equally at this stage. However, the needle is shifting ever so slightly. Persegili doing fantastically well to, in these conditions, not just perform, but gap the pack. As Pedro falls further behind, maybe the extra lap on these Inters hasn't done him too much good. Now, here's Moxie's first test, his first real test. The fastest man on Inters versus the slowest man on the slicks as it currently stands. These slick tyre runners just want no drama. They want to get to their wet stop without being scathed. But Moxie really will be questioning now. If he's listening to the stream at all, be thinking, well, how is Persegili gapping the field in these positions? As we speak of him, Persegili looks like he has hit the wall. And we have another safety car. But he does seem to be all in one piece. So who was that? Definitely looked like he had stopped for a moment. It's like everybody's seems like they're in one piece. Yeah, there we go. Persegili is in. We expect all the slick tyre runners to be in now. Not Tezik, apparently. Persegili softs to the end. That's very, very bold. Now this could get very, very tasty. As Moxie sorts for new Inters. Now that I find a strange strategy. I thought he might have mirrored Persegili, if anything. But he definitely thinks it's getting to that wet stage now. Now Persegili, I believe he was the one that caused the safety car, and he's chosen to put on more slicks. Now the softs do typically perform better in the wet than obviously their other slick counterparts, but I don't think that's quite enough of a reason to strap those to your car or for a safety car restart when the rain is as heavy as it's been throughout the race. Solid Ninja Snake sticking to his guns and just riding the safety cars, just getting free position after free position as he elects not to pit multiple times over. So yeah, this is a fascinating few final laps we're going to have. Tezic on hard, the majority of the grid on inters. Persegili running an absolute gamble with Tezic on the softs, and then AVT Pasti who's just stuck a set of softs on because he's thinking, oh, what the hell, if the championship leader can do it, maybe I can too. I'd like to think we're going to get going pretty quickly here. Now I do begin to wonder, this is a bit of a light safety car this. Nobody retired, I saw no damage. If anybody was watching the mini-map at the point where the safety car was called, if someone could confirm that it was in fact Persegili, that'd be fantastic. Seems very strange to me that he can cause a safety car with no damage to his car. There's a relatively good chance that we're going to get green flag conditions to start off the next lap. The pack is already pretty much closed up. So I'm just going to be watching these slick runners very, very closely to see what their car control's like, because that will really give us an indication of how this restart's going to go. As we see Persegili in the background really trying to work his tyres. I mean, whether there was a dry line, it's gone now. And with all the inter-runners going offline to try and cool their tyres down, they're not going to really be generating in one either. What about AVT Pasti? I mean, they all seem to be controlling the cars relatively well, but these are slow corners as we're running through them. Now the pack is here. Can we please get some racing, Mr. Massey? Yes, we're going to get some. So as we start lap 22, we've got quite a mixed bag to take us around the final 4 laps of this race. We've managed to keep 14 cars on track up until now. Given the conditions, we're very fortunate to see the remaining 14 finish the race. But Tezic trying to do a restart on 7-lap old hard tyres in as wet Azerbaijan as I've ever seen. Solid Ninja Snake on fresh inters, already looking for a line of attack against him. As Tezic gets a real snapper on the start. This is going to really invite Solid Ninja Snake up to his inside. Lets him get away just for now. Oh, as Tezic has run it round. That invites Persegili and others through. Persigili really doesn't want to be offline. He's doing a fantastic job, like Bambi on ice. But he is getting some. He's just not quite getting the traction. Goes sideways into the bend, does a four-wheel drift to keep himself out of Creamer. Oh, he is really losing traction now. Moxie's not too far behind. We've got other drivers really losing the rears further up the track. Persigili's, yes, it's an absolute bloodbath, and there's Moxie. Moxie says goodbye. Persigili, your gamble has not paid off. Now will Persigili add insult to injury for himself and go into the box just so he can get the inters on and finish the race out safely. Oh, as he looks like he clips the castle wall there. Now surely Persigili cannot afford to have a pointless race here. He's not going to get another safety car, not at this late stage. Oh, there's a huge incident there. Both showers. Fantastic save from Rally Monster as Persigili goes round an absolute pile up at turn 15. How are all drivers still in one piece after that? But now Moxie powers forward. He's got quite a straight to navigate here. He's going through the middle. 4 cars going to go into turn 1, almost side by side, 2 by 2. Mouchelain's still there. Can he squeeze around the outside? Can he keep it out the wall? Yes, he can. Now he's got the faster outside line, but Mouchelain's got a good bit of traction out of turn 1. Tezik, who started this safety car restart in pole, is now going to the pit lane in last. And Creamer, after gradually better and better results in this championship, is now eyeing up a win as he ducks back to the inside and he gets ahead of Solid Ninja Snake with 3 laps to go. Great racing. Solid Ninja Snake on the oldest intermediate tyres on the track, maybe starting to get a little bit aware and not quite be able to clear the water. As Moxie further back looks really on the side, Mouchelain is not giving that up. Great battle here. The Mouchelain was caught a cropper going through the castle earlier on. He's learnt his lesson. As we have Pedro diving out, the man who made the first call on the inters is now out of the race. Or we have a virtual. I think everybody will be quite happy to see that. Not least Persigili if he can get in. But no, this will be an absolute fantastic result for Creamer. I don't think he was expected to be in this position. The 2 championship leaders that are looking like they're really stretching their legs out front, lingering far behind him. And he has the opportunity to take maximum points in this race, as we've now been graduated to a full safety car. So I do fully suspect Persigili will pit now. And we'll be hoping that he can go like the clappers to try and catch up, get the warmest tyres. And he's put on more softs. Oh my goodness. I mean, hasn't he learned his lesson? It doesn't look like it's drying up, does it, everybody? I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I'm lost for words. Persigili, who started the championship so strong, lingering down in 12th on the wrong tyre. Now we are going to have a really electrifying restart here. We've got a Solid Ninja Snake, who's the odd one out, if in the podium positions with the oldest tyres. We've got Creamer on the right strategy for the win here, but he's got Moxie, who's going to be really, really looking at the language Perseguili and thinking, this is my best opportunity to get maximum gain. I think he might even get the championship lead if he can get this one in the bag. Yeah, the gap currently sits at 21 points difference. So yeah, a win here for Moxie would give him control of the championship. And this is the last we're going to see of Bert Mylander today. Safety cars in this lap. Yes, thank you, Gabrielle, for joining us. We have a 2-lap shootout for the end, and we've got Perseguili on soft tyres. My goodness, what could happen? The Creamer now can be a bit more confident about this restart. He's got a bit of a buffer behind him. He is in a fantastic position to take this race win, the first one of this championship. Solid Ninja State elected to keep his car straight. Not looking to get caught out by any sort of restart. And off goes Creamer. And yeah, just superior traction. We'll go back to Moosh Lane. He goes already around the outside. And Moxie getting a bit crowded out down the inside. But as the two cars go towards the wall, Moxie has found himself back into P2. It's a little tap to Solid Ninja Snake as he exits the corner. And that was the other AlphaTauri of Gurmov coming through it. This would be a great result for AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri, who have been losing this championship so far to the Mercedes, could make a big, big dent today. As further back we have a Haas pretty much standing still. But Moxie versus Creamer for 1.5 laps. What can Moxie do? This is the difference between P1 and P2 in the championship. Perseguili not really making an impact on those soft tyres. But yellow flags quickly cleared up in sector 2. Moxie really showing his initiative now. Now, this is a game of traction. Moxie will know. Just simply going for an outright overtake maybe isn't the way to go here. He needs to time it. He may not have DRS, but slipstream will really play a factor in the final sector. So don't give that to Creamer too soon. Pack has seemed to have stretched a bit further back, but the battle for the lead is hotting up, not to be dampened by the rain. We have cars spinning in the back. I believe that is... Have we lost AVT Pasty? Then we have done. But here comes Moxie. Line him up. He got a bit out the dirty air. Goes, tucks back and gets in the slipstream. Will he go out? Will he go in? He goes to the outside line. Quite an extreme one. Will he get the drive around the outside? Goes for the cutback and makes it Creamer. Just steps his rear out and through goes Moxie. But can Creamer do anything else? It's not like his tyres are worn out. He does have Moxie's teammate hunting him down. The Haas is still working together, it seems, but on the final lap, I'm not sure quite how friendly this will be. Rally Monster has got through, but then touches the wall. Just about manages to make it out. And then goes side by side with his teammate as they go through this section. Perseguili's lining all this up, as that sends the Ferrari of Tash out wide. We'll go back to the lead of the race, but Moxie does seem to just be gapping it now. As Perseguili have just seen has dropped inside the top 10, he's now up to P9. Someone will need to do the maths for me at the end. That's 2 points. They might even be tied on points at the end of this. I don't think Creamer's got much of an answer, but I think he'll quite happily take P2 under the circumstances. Guimaraes is having to really defend from Mustaine as a Bachelor Lightyear just loses it, but he has enough of a gap behind him to drive away unscathed. What about Perseguili? He's somehow managed to make these softs work. But Tash dives one down the inside. Will this end in tears? No, Persegili's found the drive, and it should be all he needs from here. Unless he has to get off the throttle round here. Oh my, what a smack! As they still seem to have dried up. Moxie gets the win, followed by Kruma, followed by Gormov, Mushlane, Bachelor Lightyear, Silverani Monster, and Tash, and Persegili gets P9. Oh my goodness, the drama. Thank you everybody who's joined me this evening. We're just going to go to the results. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know I said let's have limited safety cars, but the three that did really moved the grid around in quite a desirable fashion. So maybe safety cars weren't quite the evil that we painted them out to be going in. But it does seem that the front and rear axle of Persegili's Mercedes has been built out of iron. Twice he's had side-on collisions with the wall this evening and somehow managed to see it out. So yeah, fantastic win from Moxie there. His teammate to his left and Creamer picking up another P2. His championship has definitely started now. He'll be hunting down for that win next week. But he'll have added competition because Persegili, I'm sure, will be back. As we spread champagne, crowd is jubilant. Getting a bit of a black screen, but hopefully we are going to get the results up. All the race recordings. I'm really not quite sure what the game is doing at this point. But no, we are now back in the lobby. So thank you everybody for joining us. Sorry we couldn't get quite the results for you at the end to see what final positions were. But I very much enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. Hope for those drivers that are watching this in the replay, I hope you enjoyed it too. Hope I caught enough of your action to justify you tuning back in after a long night of racing. I've been Greg, otherwise known as the Fafa. I'm going to catch you all in the next one. See ya.